Something is going on prophetically in the earth right now. And yes, we are going to allow you to see and understand exactly what's happening. Okay, exactly what's happening. Now, without any further ado, let's start with my man real quick. Let's start with my man. Where's he at? I just had him. There you go. Let's start with our man, Benjamin Rawchaa. Well, let's start with Benjamin Rawchaa, a.k.a. known to the world as Benjamin Netanyahu. For those who don't know, his name before his father changed their names were Polish names. Okay, Rawchaa. Something just happened. What is it? Operation Rising Lion. We're going to drop the Iranian prophecy real time, and we told you it was going to happen. But what I didn't do yesterday is go into the prophetic scriptures. Where do Christ play into this? Who are the Iranians? What were they utilized for by the Almighty in ancient times? And will they be utilized for the same causes the Most High used them back then for the modern Babylon? Well, that and more, brothers and sisters, you'll understand in this particular lesson. Operation Rising Lion. Let's go.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America.
Eventually to America. Now, there's so much to unpack here. Operation Rising Lion. So we know the lion that was prophesied to roar at the very end is Judah. We're going to go into that lion because it's the spirit of Christ that's raising up Judah throughout the earth to proclaim our true purpose on earth as God's people. And at the same time, to warn the nations. So we're talking about a military operation coined by the Edomites, mind you. It's a Operation Rising Lion. So you might think, well, what does the Rising Lion of Judah has to do with them striking Iran? Great question. And it will be answered. It will be answered. How is it that the Rising Lion of Judah have anything to do with wars in the Middle East? Now, there's some key things I would like to point out. Not everything. I can spend an hour just breaking down some of the madness we've just listened to. Okay? When I say madness, what I'm saying is the disingenuous parts of his speech. When he's saying that, well, okay, we're defending our right to exist. Well, if you go back to where you were before 1948, right? Because you have a homeland. You could exist, you were existing fine there. Hitler was already destroyed. So there was no threat there now that Hitler was taken down. Right? I mean, I'm just talking about from my opinion. If I know my land is safe because the tyrant who persecuted me and my people is dead, and now I have power to dictate legislation and others in my homeland, why would I run into an area in which now the people around me threatens my existence? You see how it really doesn't make sense here? Huh? I need y'all to think about that. So he says they're doing this for their survival. Poland is still in Poland, and no one is threatening Poland. Okay? So that's one thing I wanted to unpack, but let's not deal with this. Let's deal with the code speak of the Rising Lion. Okay? And let's break down who is this sleeping giant, Iran, their origin. Who is the sleeping giant that has now been called, listen to me good, called by our God, the God of this world, the God that controls the gods over this world. Let's break down why the Most High God of Israel has called Iran into a final war. Now, if you don't know history, folks, it's hard to understand, but that's why we're here. Okay? And that's why we have the academy. A lot of our people, like it says in Hosea 4:6, are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You don't understand what's going on in the old world because you've lost the history of it. Well, that's what you need to know to understand what's going on right now. Operation Rising Lion. Now, of course, the Iranians retaliated. Fair use.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military.
No, not you. Right here. Israel attacks Iran. Boom, that happens. And then Iran responds. Fair use.
Well, while you were sleeping, Israel launched a massive series of attacks on Iran, taking out key nuclear sites and killing multiple top military leaders. Obviously, Israel does not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
So Iran is retaliating
now.
And threatening to hold the United States responsible as well. So Doug Luzader is going over all that's happened and what is currently happening, because this is still going on at the minute.
Yeah, in fact, it seems like we're pretty early into this, actually, even given the scale and the scope of those attacks last night. The White House is trying to distance itself from those attacks, but there are clear signs that the administration knew something was in the works. Israeli fighter jets streak off into the night, dozens of them. Hours later, the impact was becoming clear.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the attack last night. It was an operation that involved not just an air campaign, but Israeli operatives apparently working on the ground in Iran. The targets, Iranian nuclear sites, scientists, and military leaders.
We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Israel has already been fending off air attacks this morning. Posting on X, Iran's supreme leader threatened to retaliate. That Zionist regime, he wrote, should anticipate a severe punishment. By God's grace, the powerful arm of the Islamic Republic's armed forces won't let them go unpunished.
Well, I'd love to avoid the conflict.
Just yesterday, prior to the attacks, President Trump said he was trying to avoid this, hoping to continue nuclear talks with Iran this weekend. But he has also said repeatedly that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, and these attacks could be a significant setback for the regime.
Trying to really dismantle and rubblize the key nuclear sites in Iran so that Iran can never get back to being as close as they were to a bomb before last night.
Okay, there are reports of stepped-up security around the Israeli embassy here in Washington, and this city is already locking down ahead of that big army parade that is tomorrow. Mike and Alex.
Well, you live in D.C., the D.C. area, so are they still worried about the streets being crushed by these heavy equipment?
I mean, there may be some street damage. I mean, you put an Abrams tank on the street, that's a lot of weight.
Yes.
The parade route is relatively short. So that may,
Okay, let's go into business as usual as the earth spiral into chaos. Let's go into business. Oh yeah, the parade. Guess what? The coming of Christ, the destruction of humanity. Hey, let's talk about this parade, right? But don't worry about it. We're going to break it down to you folks. Project or Operation Rising Lion. What is this? How do you view prophetically or understand what's going on with the conflict now between America, the state of Israel, who are Edomites, and the Iranians, who are who? They are the Medes, the Persians and the Medes. Now, why is that so important prophetically? Well, Daniel seen four separate beasts in the book of Daniel that must rise up in the earth before the Most High brings back what? His son, and give the children of Israel the promise that was shown to Abraham. 4 separate beasts. Well, Iran, for those who don't know, you haven't been in the academy, that's okay. We're here to teach it. Iran is the second beast Daniel seen in the vision. Let's go to Daniel 9, Elder Lawya. Let's go to Daniel 9 real quick. And of course, we have a complete lesson, the 4 beasts of Daniel. And since our theme is from Babylon, Rome to America, we'll be able to go into that and highlight the Babylonian regimes that leads to America in the academy. But today, let's focus on Iran, okay? If you will, Elder Lawya, let's go to Daniel, and let's get that third beast, if you will, that Daniel's seen coming out of the water. Daniel 9, okay? Let me put it up here so all can see. Daniel 9, Elder Lawya, and let's go directly to the third beast. Daniel 7, excuse me, Daniel 7, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Daniel 7, and let's go directly to the second beast. Read it.
Yes, sir. Daniel 7, verse number 5.
Daniel 7 and 5, read it.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
A second like to a what?
A bear.
A second like to a bear. Okay? Daniel 9, I'm going to go there a little later because it goes into who? It goes into Alexander. But here, Daniel 7, it says, and behold, another beast, a what? A second beast, read.
Like to a bear.
Like to a bear.
And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it.
It had 3 ribs in the mouth of it. Okay? So this beast rises up with 3 ribs. A bear. So it stands on 2 sides. Now, you know, it's a bear, when it stands up, it has 2 legs. Right? So when you get to understand this empire is standing, its foundation is 2 separate nations of people out of Noah's sons. Like you got the bear standing with 2 legs. Well, instead of 1 nation, it's 2 that combines for this particular empire. And we're going to show you these 2, right? The 3 ribs in the mouth. They just took down Babylon, okay? They also took down Lydia. Lydia, high in witchcraft and sorcery. And they also took down Egypt. These are the 3 wars that led to who? Iran in ancient times, gaining power over the earth, where all of the people had to pay tribute to the Iranians. To the Iranians. And we're talking about around you're talking about between the 6th century and the 4th century BC. Iran was the superpower of the earth. Okay? Now, when it says that on one side it had 3 ribs in its mouth, the 3 empires it took down to consolidate power: Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt. Could it be that the Most High is going to use that same beast at the very end to come against the daughter of Babylon? See? Are you following me here? This was the empire that crushed and took over the first beast of Daniel, the Babylonian Assyrian Empire. Is this sleeping giant there prophetically to usher in the coming of our Lord and Savior? Well, listen. Read. And between the teeth of it.
And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Arise and devour much flesh. So we're not talking about a regular, brothers and sisters, a regular empire here. We're talking about one of the dominions that was given power by our God on this earth. On this earth. Now let's go into Genesis and the antiquity of the Jews real quick. And we have some history here. Right? concerning this particular empire. Who are they? What race are they according to genealogy, according to the Bible? Right? Today, the modern name for that beast is Iran. Okay? Right? So if you will, let me show you all this. Right? Here is an ancient map, if you will. Okay? Go on to class a little bit today. Here's an ancient map. See that? An ancient map. And as you can see, here is the original land of the Persian Empire. You see where it says Media here? Persia and Media. Here are the ancient maps. But if you look at the modern maps, it would just say Iran. Iran. Now check this out. Up here is the seat of the ancient Aryans. So when you think of the Aryan race, a lot of people think of what? The white Aryan racist race. Okay? But no. Esau assimilates and takes from all cultures. Being that beast that was able to steal from all cultures at the very end and make himself the Roman Empire. There's nothing original about Esau. There's no originality. He's an amalgamation of all the beasts which preceded him. So when you hear Aryan, these are concepts that were taken from who? And ideologies taken from the Persians. Okay? From those in the Mesopotamian area. Okay? Now, Elder Lawya, if you will, let's go to Genesis 10,
Yes,
if you
sir.
will, and let's identify the children, Genesis 10, and let's identify the children or the seed or families of Iran. Let's go to their origin, their genealogy, okay? If you will, let's read it.
Genesis 10 and 1.
Genesis 10, verse 1.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
After the flood, read.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai.
And Madai. This is where you get who? The Medes, who resided in that same geography in the Mesopotamian area. So you have part who? Part Japheth as one leg of that bear, that second beast. So on one leg, it's Japheth. So they're part Asian, right? Because the Japhetic people are Asian. Now, I'm going to finish this a little later and correct a lot of misnomers out there concerning genealogy. When people see Japheth, they'll claim that the white man or Khazars are Japheth. We're going to clear that up a little later. Don't worry about that, okay? These people who are Khazars and converted between the 8th and the 11th century AD are Edomites. They are Edomites. Now, what is the confusion here? And we'll tackle that a little later. Okay? We'll tackle that a little later. The confusion here is the geography you see the white Europeans living on right now once belonged to the ancient people of the Old Testament before these lands were conquered by Edomites. So you'll have someone in America studying ancient history, looking at ancient maps, relating the white people to the land and naming them according to the ancient names. Right? So that's what's going on. So a lot of Hebrews who seen white people living in Europe started equating them with Japheth, because that land was originally Asian land, Japhetic land, before Esau conquered Europe. So a lot of them are confused. Now, I understand why they're confused. You go to the Bible, look at the geography like we did with Iran, and think, well, okay, if the Iranians are still there, who are the Persians and Medes, and the Ishmaelites are still there, right, over there all in Saudi Arabia, then I might as well look over what Japheth was and say that the white man in Europe is Japheth. You can't do that. Where's Edom? See, you can't do that. You have to go to the origin of Edom to figure out when he began to conquer other lands and then assimilate himself amongst those people. And we're going to help with that today. Okay? So I understand why they're saying that, but we're going to clear that up later. Right now, we've identified one of the legs of the second beast. Who is that? Madai. Madai is the father of who would become the Medes, right? Let me go here. I'm going into eastward, and we're going to grab here Madai, and it says, boom. See? Madai, a country of Central Asia. That's right, Iran is a part of Asia. Madai is the Medes and or Media, okay? Medes or Media. So we are now identifying them geographically here as part of the ancient Iranian land. Madai, or the Japhetic Asians, lived here. Okay? Are you following me? Now, so when you look over here into Iraq in the Assyrian area over here, that was the first empire that makes up the modern day Iraq. You notice how the Most High is knocking them down in the same order? Iraq was taken down when George Bush went up in there, and now they're going after Iran. Well, Iraq was the first beast connected to Babylon. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? So you have Esau, he took out Iraq to bring them under the order of Rome, and now they're going after the second beast. Geographically. Okay, y'all see that? Hope you all see that. All right. Now, Elder Lawya, let's get the second leg of this particular second beast written of in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter.
Yes, sir. Genesis 10 and 21.
Genesis 10, verse 21. Let's read it.
Genesis 10:21. Unto Shem also, the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born.
Were children born. Now, this is the Shemitic line in that region. Read.
The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram.
It says, and the children of Shem, and or who?
Elam.
Elam. The Elamites are the other part going west in the land. So you have what? A mixture of Asian people in Madai, and or Elamites in the most parts of Iran, which makes up the bear of Iran, called the Persian, the ancient Persian, and or Medo Empire. Okay? Now, what do we have here? And I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go into the Josephus in a second. Not the Josephus, the antiquity of the Jew. Yeah, I'm going to the Josephus in a second, right? What do we have here? We have the cylinder. Hold on. Did they say the screen is stuck? That's weird.
It's saying it's stuck on Jeremiah. We can scroll up.
I'm looking live. There's nothing stuck there. It looks fine on our side. It looks fine on our side. Okay? Okay, it's fine. I was about to say.
Saying the eastward. But even the eastward is fine here.
The eastward is fine here, Iraq. So I don't know. The problem is on your end. Everyone else, I'm looking at it. Everything looks fine. This screen isn't stuck. Everybody say it's good. I saw the cylinder. So let me go back to the cylinder. If your screen is stuck, refresh your computer. Okay? What are we looking at here? Here's archaeological proof of what was shown in the book of Daniel. This is called the Cyrus cylinder. Okay? The Cyrus cylinder. Archaeological transcripts. That was what? They was able to make transcripts off of the stone, confirming the prophecies of the war that led to Cyrus taking Babylon. It's all recorded on the Cyrus cylinder. The king of who? The king of the ancient Iranians over the Persian Medo Empire. About 539 to about 538. Okay? It's called the Cyrus cylinder. Right? Now, in this, and I'm going to show you in the Bible, our God, the God of the Hebrews, raised Cyrus up to come against ancient Babylon. And also Cyrus was given the spirit to help our people rebuild the temple. And understand where we are right now. At a time where the Most High is rebuilding his people all over the earth in the spirit. Look at where we are. Operation Rising Lion. The temple is getting built, but it's spiritual right now. And in the midst of this, a war against the nation who helped us rebuild our temple. Right? Now, Elder Lawya, let's go to the Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, chapter and verse here. You good?
Sir.
The Antiquity of the Jews, Book 1, Part 6, breaking down the genealogies, right? Let's read it here. Shem.
Shem, the third son of Noah, had 5 sons who inhabited the land that began at Euphrates and reached to the Indian Ocean.
So that's the geography. It reaches what?
It began at the Euphrates and reached to the Indian Ocean.
And reaches to the Indian Ocean. Read.
For Elam left behind the Elamites, the ancestors of the Persians.
The ancestors of the who?
The Persians.
The ancestors of the Persians. So the Iranians is confirmed even in antiquity and history that Iran is made up out of the children of Shem, the Elamites, and Madai, who are Japheth. Now, that's why you have a priesthood as a part of the political structure of Persia. It's through the Shem line that they have like the Ayatollahs and all others. Okay? Now let's go to the next one here, if you will, Elder Lawyer. So as you can see, for Elam, left behind the Elamites, the ancestors of the Persians, and go on.
Scroll up.
Let's go here.
Scroll down till we get to Japheth.
Japheth. Okay, let's see if we can find Japheth here. 1 second. Let me grab it here. What's the chapter and verse there you have?
1, 6, and 1.
1, 6, and 1.
That's 4.
That's 4.
Going up.
That's 5 there, right?
Yep. So I'm gonna keep going up.
1 second.
I'm gonna keep going.
Keep going?
Upwards.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
1 second. Okay, yeah, it's backward.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Scroll down till you get to book 6.
1 second. Okay, I see how this program works here. Right here. 6 and 1. Right here?
Yes, sir. Yep. Keep going down
Right
just
here?
a little bit. Yep. Yep. There you go.
Right here.
Yep.
Let's read it.
It says, I'll start here with Japheth.
Japheth.
It says, Japheth, the son of Noah, had 7 sons. They inhabited so that beginning at the mountain Taurus and Amanus, they proceeded along Asia as far as the river Tanais, and along Europe to Cadiz, and setting themselves on the lands which they light upon, which none had inhabited before.
Well, let's start here. Let's start. Now, these are the grandchildren of Noah.
Yes, sir. Now these are the grandchildren of Noah,
Come on.
in honor of whom names were imposed on the nations by the first seized upon them. Japheth the son of Noah had 7 sons. They inhabited so that beginning at the mountain Taurus and Amanus, they proceeded along Asia as far as the river Tanais, and along Europe to Cadiz.
And along where?
Europe to Cadiz.
So as you can see, the original Europeans were who? Japheth or Asian. See that? So if white people conquer this land later, it doesn't make them the indigenous people of Europe. Come on.
And setting themselves on the land which they light upon, which none had inhabited before, they called the nations by their own names.
Come on.
For Gomer founded those whom the Greeks now call Galatians or Gauls, but were then called Gomerites. Magog founded those that from him were the Magogites.
And Magog would be modern day China. Come on.
But who are by the Greeks called Scythians. Now as to Javan and Madai,
Javan and Madai, read.
the sons of Japheth.
The sons of Japheth, read.
From Madai came the Madians, who are called Medes
Who are called Medes by who?
by the Greeks.
The Greeks called the sons of Japheth the Madai, from Madai to the modern day Medes. This in of itself, brothers and sisters, makes up the two legs of the great second beast given in a vision to Daniel. Are y'all following me here? Right? Now, Elder Lawyer, since we have identified Iran, let's now go to Jeremiah 25, verse 15. Jeremiah, now let's go into the prophecies concerning Iran.
Yes, sir.
And I'm putting this out there, folks, because the evangelical preachers out there, there's no one in the United States that's set up under modern day Christianity that's breaking this down. Normally, under normal circumstances, we have a school class like this every Sunday where we give the dates and all these others. But I thought it would be apropos in the midst of prophecy to actually quantify and give you insight of what's happening real time prophetically, so you'll understand the characters that the Most High is utilizing in these end-day prophecies before Christ's return. Right? Esau have renamed the whole earth. So if you don't know who the people are, you'll never understand what's going on over there. See, now, identifying Madai, identifying the Elamites in their geography, now you can go into the Old Testament and make sense of modern day prophecy based on geography. The only one that's a little slippery out of all the nations we read of in the Old Testament is Esau. He had become the invisible man, which means he assimilated himself. He'll conquer a nation and then become that nation and hide his true intentions and nation, and also the prophecy concerning our God warring against him at the very end. So he hides himself. An example, we were talking about this before the lesson, and Elder Lawya made a great example. I was talking to Lawya. Like Elon Musk today, in America, would be considered a South African. Right? Now, usually, when I was coming up, a South African was considered, Nelson Mandela. Winnie Mandela. Right? But now, we're looking at an Edomite who's considered a South African. That's the perfect example of why you can't trust the history of Esau documenting themselves as other nations historically. See? You can't do it because they hide themselves and assimilate themselves in society without showing their true intentions and or nation prophetically according to the Bible. That's why they don't like us identifying them as Esau or Edomites. That blows their cover. That blows their cover. Okay? And we're going to talk about that exactly, the invisible man. Elder Lawya, if you can, let's go to Jeremiah 25 real quick.
Yes, sir.
Right? And for all those brothers and sisters who never been in one of our Hebrew and Bible academies and saying, man, a lot of this is making sense to me. This is just I would say, a minuscule piece of what you'll actually receive in the academy as a whole. Okay? We dive in to the history, and the PDFs and all that is right there for you to do your own research to confirm what we're bringing you is true. No one out there can claim the Bible is incorrect when we're dealing with what? Archaeology and history concerning secular nations outside of the Hebrews that's documented. Like we showed what? We showed Cyrus cylinder that documented the fall of Babylon, a vision that was given to Daniel. That's an outside source that proves the prophecies and what the Most High showed our people are true. That confirms the validity of our book. See? So all this, well, man wrote the Bible. Now, listen, you don't say that about any other book you respect. Man wrote every book. And so what does that mean? So now, the only book that we can question that man wrote, as you claim, is the Bible. Why do you take that particular view and skepticism strictly only with that book, opposed to the other books you respect out there? That's hypocrisy, because you know the book is real and it challenges you, and it'll have you question what? The foundation of your core beliefs. That's why they question the Bible, because if you believe the Bible, you have to now restructure everything concerning yourself. That's why they go, oh, the Bible tampered with. How many translations is the Bible? Oh, nah. Don't try. Listen, don't even try it, because you'll be out there pushing a book like Oprah's book club almost every week, claiming a book you read that everyone should dive into. Mm-hmm. But it's all of a sudden, it's the Bible that we must question. Nah. The devil is like, stay away from this. Okay? This Bible is like a cross to the vampires. It slays the dragon. Elder Lawya, let's get to Jeremiah real quick. 25.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 25 and 15.
Jeremiah 25. Let's get there. Let's read it.
For thus saith the Lord God unto Israel, of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
He told the Most High, says, take the wine cup of this fury. And do what?
And cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
And cause all the races of the people it says, cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. Every race of people that was ever given power over God's people must drink this cup. Now, before you go there, Elder, I want to show one other thing. One more thing before going into that. When you go into the Persian Empire, and I got this off of history.com, Ancient Middle East. You can look it up. It talks about this, right? Elder Lawya, read the Persian Empire for me, if you will, here.
Yes, sir. The Persian Empire is the name given to a series of dynasties centered in modern-day Iran.
Modern-day where?
Iran.
Modern-day Iran, come on.
That spanned several centuries, from the 6th century BC to the 20th century AD.
So this empire, even though it isn't as great as it once was, as far as having all nations at its tribute to them, it's still here. It's still here, folks. Read.
The first Persian Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great around 550 BC, became one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Europe's Balkan Peninsula in the west to India's Indus Valley in the east.
Which confirms exactly what was recorded in Josephus. Read.
This Iron Age dynasty, sometimes called the Achaemenid Empire, was a global hub of culture, religion, science, art, and technology.
So you have to realize, folks, we're not dealing with a novice here. When it comes to ingenuity, power, science, history, it's one of the most ancient structures that's still in place as far as government and empire. Why do you think Esau had to wait at the very end to come against Iran. This is not going to be an easy task here. They're rooted. And they're confident in their what? In their part presently, according to prophecy. They understand. They fully understand, brothers and sisters, their role. Read.
For more than 200 years before it fell to the invading armies of Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great, which goes into the goat we read of in the book of Daniel. When you go to Daniel 8, Daniel 9, it breaks down the empire that would take them down. Okay? And what empire warred against ancient Iran or the Persian Medo Empire? Alexander the Edomite. The strange family of Esau who came into Macedonia. It was the Edomites who took them down and took their power, like shown to Daniel. Cyrus the Great. Let's get straight to Cyrus the Great.
Yes, sir. The Persian Empire started a collection of semi-nomadic tribes who raised sheep, goats, and cattle on the Iranian plateau. Cyrus the Great, the leader of one such tribe, began to defeat nearby kingdoms, including Media, Lydia, and Babylon, joining them under one rule. He founded the first Persian Empire, also known as the Achaemenid Empire, in 550 BC.
Come on.
The first Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great soon became the world's first superpower. It united under one government 3 important sites of early human civilization.
Now you see what it says? This became the first world's superpower. So what we see in presently is the current world's superpower up against the ancient world's superpower. That's what we're witnessing with Iran against the Edomites right now. Or the Edomites against the Iranians. That's what we're witnessing. The modern day superpower who's using Israel, that little place there, as a proxy. Okay? And Rome is controlling this all, folks. But that state of Israel is a proxy, a colony of the United States. The superpower fighting the ancient, looking to rival the ancient superpower Iran. The sleeping giant. It says
it united
one government, 3 important sites of early human civilization.
In the ancient world, Mesopotamia, Egypt's Nile Valley, and India's Indus Valley. Cyrus the Great is immortalized in the Cyrus cylinder, a clay cylinder inscribed in 539 BC.
Archaeological proof that everything we're dropping is true, and that the prophecies given to our prophet Daniel proves that Israel's prophecies is above all prophecies on the earth. No other record can quantify what's going on in the earth right now. You can't go to the Gita, the Book of the Dead. You cannot go to the Quran to figure out what we're talking about right now. And believe it, if you could, the people over in Israel today would be claiming to be them and using their records. See? That's why they don't mind us claiming to be African or from the origin of African Ham. There's no prophetic source or future of power that was given to Ham. See, that's why they don't mind us claiming it, because prophetically, you know, we're in the position to just be servants over the earth under the other people forever. That's why they don't mind us saying we're African, we're Ham, because there's no prophetic future for these people that we're claiming to be. See? If it was about being African, as far as prospering prophetically, guess what, folks? I'm going to tell you right now. This guy right here, And all of them would be claiming to be the Africans. I'm talking about wholesale. Right? Cyrus the Great immortalized in the Cyrus cylinder a clay cylinder inscribed in 539 BC.
With the story of how he conquered Babylon from King Nabonidus, bringing an end to the Neo-Babylonian Empire.
So here it is. It was recorded on the Cyrus cylinder, the war that would lead to Iran becoming the first superpower in the 6th century. Folks, this is history. This is history right here. Right? Read.
Darius the Great, the fourth king of the Achaemenid Empire, ruled over the Persian Empire when it was at its largest, stretching from the Caucasus and West Asia to what was now, or what was then Macedonia, today's Balkans, the Black Sea, Central Asia, and even into Africa, including parts of Libya and Egypt. He unified the empire through introducing standard currency and weights and measures, making Aramaic the official language, and building roads.
And building roads, come on.
The Behistun inscription, a multilingual relief carved into Mount Behistun in western Iran, extols his virtues and was a critical key to deciphering cuneiform script. Its impact is compared to that of the Rosetta Stone, the tablet that enabled scholars to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Okay, this is modern day. This is ancient, which would be modern day, the land of Iran, Persian and Medes. And guess what, folks? The Most High put a spirit on this particular king to rebuild the temple. Their original religion was the paganism, the pagan Zoroastrianism. Ancient Babylonian religion moved from them all the way, from Babylon all the way to the modern day Iranians, and that's why they're all predominantly Muslims today. It all goes back to the Persian mythology, the religion of Zoroastrian. Okay? All the way down to when Alexander the Greek took them down, took down Darius in 333 BC. Okay? Now, that's the history on it. And folks, let me tell y'all something, man. Iran have been a cultural powerhouse and a stronghold in the earth all this time. So this isn't an easy scenario. And our God have made it so. Now, am I for Iran? The answer is no. Mm-hmm. Am I for the Edomites side, that them fighting against each other? No. Mm-hmm. I'm just here reporting it. Okay, through the Bible prophecy to show you what comes next. All in all, we're for our people, the lost tribes of Israel. And it's important. That doesn't make me racist. How the world defined racist. You being for your people doesn't mean you hate someone else. I'm for the lost tribes of Israel. Why? Because when Israel is in power, all the races of the people benefit. The world is better because we treat people better. So in actuality, with us being in the interest like Christ was for his people, it's an actual benefit for the other races of people out there. If you want to know what a better world looks like without chaos, war, and confusion, well, you have to look back to when there was what? Peace. After David took down the pagan enemies and the pagan kings And guess what? There was 70 years of peace in the earth because the children of Israel ruled. Out of that 70 years of peace, it have always been chaos and destruction. So when we stake claim to being the 12 tribes of Israel, folks, that's a benefit for everyone. Hence the reason, I'm going to tell you right now, Iran is being very hesitant in coming into this war. I'm going to tell you this right now. Iran, for years, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, I reported this in 2011. He said, listen, how can America and the Western world and Israel be the moral barometer for justice when you've enslaved God's people? You never even treated black people right. How can you tell us what to do over here when we treat these people with civility and respect? He was speaking cold. He's like, yo, I'm not jumping into this. And no, Iran was like, that's on y'all, what y'all did to Judah. We have history. Iran has history in which they helped our people during the time of Esther. During the time of Esther, folks, when the Persian Empire when Haman, the Edomite, was seeking to kill us, the Iranians gave our sister power to judge the Edomites so that we can reign in that same region, so that we can survive the carnage. They were going to depopulate us, and the Iranians protected us. So they got the history of protecting us. See? So now Esau is telling them, nah, you got to come into this war with us against the rising lion. And Iran for a long time have been, listen, they've been quiet, not participating in the world, the one world order like they wanted them to. Esau have sanctioned Iran. Esau have threatened Iran. And Iran is like, listen, I don't want to do this. I don't want to come up against the rising lion. I know what's going to happen prophetically when their God send the Son of Man back. So the Iranians are trying not to get into this war. But Esau's like, hey, Judah has awakened. Judah has awakened, and you were a part of the original confederacy, Iran. And you're going to let us be the fall guy now? Esau is the bad guy? You think we're going to go down by ourselves? You're coming into this war. And that's what Esau is doing over there. Because Iran don't want to come into the New World Order's military and have their military join NATO. They don't want it. Because really, the NATO war is getting made in the earth to come against Judah. Every nation Rome or America takes down, they assimilate into the Roman power and or military. Eventually, that military is going to come against Israel. And I'm not talking about the state of Israel that was made as a proxy of the United States right now. I'm talking about God's people. And Iran is saying no. They know the prophecy. They're one of the rare countries in the earth that has what? A balance of power between the Ayatollah Khomeini, a religious leader, and a president or prime minister that has equal power. So they're knee-deep in prophecy, and they understand their part here and are refusing, because once they jump in, folks, it's going to be total chaos to a degree this world have never seen. That's why they're being so hesitant. Some people are wondering, well, why isn't Iran retaliating like they have the power to? They'll send a few strikes or whatever, but why aren't they 2 feet in? Folks, once they're in, there's no turning back. There's no turning back, and they know it. So they'll send a strike here and a strike there and come to talking. But Esau's like, listen, we're going to beat on your door until you come into this war. The ancient superpower has to fall and have their armies aligned with NATO, which is the Roman army. You'll never hear this any other place on earth of what's going on right now. I'll tell you this. Try to find what I'm telling you right now. And I've only been speaking for about an hour and something. Try to find and quantify in 1 hour what I've just broken down to you. What through the Spirit of the Almighty, through the Spirit of Christ. Try to find it anywhere. Go online, go anywhere. Now, you'll probably hear somebody talking about it in about a month from now after ear hustling this channel. Okay? That's what you'll do. But breaking it down historically, who they are and what their purposes by our God is, you're not going to find it broken down like this anywhere on earth. I'll challenge you. I'll challenge you to do that. And if you do, bring it back to me so I can see it. Because it doesn't exist. What is Operation Rising Lion has to do with Iran? Well, here it is. Elder Lawya, let's get Psalms 83. Then let's go back to the Most High saying, for all Gentile nations to sip that cup. Huh? And guess what? What I'm saying isn't boasting. Let me make it clear. It's what it is. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.